Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Karndee from Bangkok, and this is the second time I speak in this forum, the first one on the first day, but the story entirely different. We'd like to talk about how creative economy, concept, policy drive creative cities, as well as boosting the social innovations. So basically, we'd like to talk about what I have done in the past at the policy levels, as well as the activities that are going on right now at the city of Bangkok. Let's start it out as my practice in the researchers. This looks really statistic, or I'll try to put the flags into it just to look relaxing. I've done the research and tried to see the relationships between the growth of creative industries and the growth of GDP of each country itself. So what I found, we have strong relationship. The correlation is quite strong. So in a sense, if creative industries is growing, it will essentially boost up the GDP of the countries as well. So although Japan is right there, but nothing wrong about it because your GDP is already large, and you know, the growth of creative industry is somewhere right there, but your GDP are basically boosting or driving with, you know, by another industries. If you look at the one on the reference line, you see that if anyone that stick on the reference line is likely to be driven by the creative industry. So we see the strong relationship right there. And that is more like a motivation that we need to look at more in details, the potential, the opportunity right there from the creative industries to boost up the economy of the nation. So, well, this is very statistics. Let's take a look at the other one, which I have been working closely with Dr. Apinan and many folks back home. So it's not, well, essentially, we started out the idea of creative economy some times ago. It started to be very tangible. When people picked up the idea that creative economy is crucial for the future development. And eventually, we successfully incorporate the creative economy concept in our 11th National Economic and Social Development Plan, which is in place for 2012 to 2016. So basically, we started out, you know, talking to people, how important it is, and how it actually relates to every walks of life, every professionals, every industries, not just only creative industries. We have large amount of agriculture sectors, manufacturing, and service. We also, once again, point out the importance why you need to incorporate idea and creativities to create more values, and we are all in place. If we look at towards the back, we basically, the creative economy is not just a one-man show. We basically successfully, hands in hands, collaborating with numerous organizations, agencies. The one that I named up here, it's just the government agencies. So we basically have the private sectors, university, educations, and the citizen of the cities and the citizen of the countries. You named it, Ministry of Culture, TCDC, which is the organization of one of our speakers yesterday. And we have it as a local organization and local agencies as well. So pretty much everything. If you look at the economy, we basically, enormous amount of them was driven by SME. If you go back to Bangkok, you go back to Thailand now, you see a whole lot different. SME, the small entrepreneurs, used to be in a zone of cost-driven, factor-driven. Now they realize that they need to put more idea into it and create values, intangible value, but somehow create the tangible impact in their economy. We see a lot of change in the past years, and we're so proud of it. That was done in the past, but and these are once again that it's just a big, you know, very rough brief of the creative policy that we have. We put it down as a national level, try to create the competitive identity, national, industry level, business level, and also the individual levels. This is what actually have been incorporated in our national development plan. That was done in the past several years. And I would like to talk about now in the future, and would like to spend just a little bit of time introducing the organization that I am practicing aside of Thammasat University that I teach in full-time. I work here as a director of Future Innovative Thailand Institute. Who are we? We are essentially a bunch of people who believes that policy should come from the citizen. Policy should drive from the bottom up as well as the top down. Because we have seen the success case, the failure case, something that don't work when you have someone else right on the top saying what you should do. We got a lot of resistance, we got a lot of delay, and you know Thailand's politics, and never been long. You know, each government spent a couple of years, change to the next. Once the next comes in, they basically change the policy. So the policy is supposed to be strategic direction, long term, but it turned out that the implementation could get quite fragmented and got the limitation by the life of that government itself. So the way we did is innovative in itself. We believe, we put the idea of, go through the Thailand 2020, not too far, not too short in the visions. We have, our idea, we actually, in Thai, it means that the future that we can choose, or basically we welcome the citizen to design your own future, to design the policy that you need, to design the infrastructure that you actually need. The process that we got to go through, we got to get concept of design thinking, systemic change, and what we believe, we're going to come up with a really cool and sustained social innovations. Throughout the process, we have policy design lab, and what we believe and what we want is inclusive and sustainable development. This is what we did. Gone through a lot of talks, forums, workshops. This gentleman is Dr. Surin Pisawan. He is a former of ASEAN Secretary General, and he is our chairman in our institute. So we try to do the Thailand Blueprint Initiatives, and that's a big picture. Former Prime Minister, and we have experts from all around the world, from Helsinki, from London, from Paris, and from everywhere, lent in the idea of how we're going to change the country and change the cities. It takes time, but it has to start somewhere. We have a series of talks. We mix of people. Normally, when we talk about policy to change something in the cities or your country, it's likely from the small room of cabinets, yeah? But now we change the whole thing. We don't want to wait until any government comes in and take into a power. We basically believe that each citizen can be your own government. So we invite the mix of genders, mix of professions, mix of age, mix of career, and also every demography. Series of talks, series of workshops with the help of universities, educators, business sectors. And this is one of our event and forums. We actually held it in one of the leading shopping area, Siam Square. And it's pretty cool things about it. We have all kinds of people, like a young gen, teenagers comes in. Do you see the quote sign right there? That what we try to say that people should speak out what they want for the country, what they want for the cities. And it's quite fun, and it's really amazing to learn what they want and to learn what they need. Come up with the three. Through the series of talks, series of forums, meeting many of people, we come up with 3 groups of initiatives: innovative learning, sustainable economy, responsive government, through the idea of the policy design lab. It doesn't look like it relates to a creative city at the moment, but I will point out, believe it or not, when the citizens speak out about sustainable economy, many of them are actually will try to drive the city towards the creative cities. They don't know the term creative cities, but this is what I want. And I'm going to show you what they are. Innovative learning, because we still have the hiccups in our education, we believe that it could be better, it could be improved, and these are the idea from the citizen. And I would like to spend more time on this. Once come down to sustainable economy, we are not talking about boosting foreign direct investment. The citizen doesn't care about how many, the investment come from anywhere. They just want to have it in their own home, right there in community. Take a look at it. They like to build the urban creative district, sustainable agricultural estate. It sounds pretty awesome. Community web portal, just to help exchange the information. Green cooperative, public mass transit, urban region initiative, eco district, and urban green link. You see, this is not what we push from them. This is what they actually want. And it's just amazing that they are actually see the importance of this. You see the things that I highlighted in blue are actually what I'm gonna talk it further. Another one, we have resilience and self-sustained town. Dr. Apinan, Mr. Girat, my colleagues from Bangkok, also talks about how we had innovation, which is likely to be the crisis-driven innovations, because we got a lot of some disasters. We got not a lot of it, but once it comes, you got to have change, adapt, and be prepared. Community Environmental Fund, they want to be able to manage their waste, garbage, and things like that, and have it as economic factors. Smart Street Biz, we're talking more about that. World-class service incubation center, small town tourism, community warehouse and logistics service. These are stuff that they want, and I just put in the group for them. Responsive government is one of the key, likely, to deal with, try to reduce down the negative impact or the possibility of corruptions and all that. And this part we have done so and have already proposed to the current government and the current business sectors. See, all this, to us, if we're going to put in one word, what we got from the citizen all around the country is more like a policy shopping list. A policy shopping list which have been well defined by the citizen themselves. Now, what they did, what we did basically, not me alone, but the whole group of people get together as a key stakeholders. What we did, we go around place to places, cities to cities, and try to talk to the local government, right in the village, in the community, in the tambon, in the provinces. And this is what we got. We got well received by the local government. And more like I said, once again, it's a policy shopping list. We thought about for you, but the implementation has got to be customized. So we once again work through and through it with the workshop, many cities around the countries. You will be surprised, some cities right there in down south, the province down south, it's very creative and it's very active. So that's the Satun, the province right there, that I feel most proud, how active of the local government themselves and how active of their citizens themselves. But I'd like to go right down in the detail, the city of Bangkok, and would like to talk about several specific projects that have been going on right now to make sure we have a good future. And some of the projects that are in current of the planning stage right now that we hope to build up productivity, competitiveness, creativity, livability for the city of Bangkok. This workshop was held right about this time last year. I believe it's about 13th of October, exactly this time last year. And what we have, once again, we draw in the idea, we talk to people. Well, I started out talk the BMA, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. Something that I learned, something that we all know, Dr. Apinan mentioned yesterday, Bangkok has been voted as the best place to visit for so many years in a row, and we're so proud of it because tourists love us. Even though it's a beautiful chaos, it's just beautiful still. Bangkok moved forward and about to be the global metropolitan. And you can see this. Once we have any ranking, for example, that what we had yesterday, Bangkok is also one of the 4 days that you pick to evaluate, and I love that, love to read anything that you think about us. The question is that, are we in the livable place just yet? So now when you define the place to live or livable place, you can go on and on what it would be, the infrastructures, education, park, museum, all and all that. But if you ask a citizen of Bangkok itself to define the livable place, and I found a common definition, it's the place that you are willing to grow your family. It's not the best, it doesn't mean that it's a place where you can work and make money, but it's the place it's good enough for your family. And this family, of course, it means your parents, your grandparents, and your children along the line to the future. And these are their decision or the definition of the livable Bangkok. So we got that, and we talk about that, and we would like to do more on what we can do towards the future. Let me show you some statistics at the moment of the Bangkok cities. 5.6 million people officially registered as a citizen of Bangkok last year. Somehow we have some forecasts it's going to grow to 8 million in the next couple of years, but that's not the point. The point is we have 5.6 million registered as Bangkokians, the official one, but we have actual population day to day more than 12 million. So the point is right here. When the central government allocate the budget, the key indicator that they can measure, which is the number of population itself. So they got the budget, as half as they needed to, because they would have to facilitate and build infrastructure for the 12 million people. But somehow they got the allocated resource for only 5.6. How would it be possible? So we see the limitations. We're not going to cry it out and say, oh no, we need more money to change things. Well, so we do it in a different way, as what we learned and inspired by many cities around the world, London, Paris, Boston, Tokyo, for example. We learned that the change in the city doesn't come from the government itself alone, exclusively. But we have to stir out to the citizen who lives right in that area, see the importance of the change, visualize what could be done in the living, in the cities, in the home. So this is what we actually did. We work closely with the Bangkok Metropolitan Administrations, and I would like to take example of the 4 projects that are going on right now. The first one is Urban Regeneration Initiative. I would like to introduce the Eco District right in Bangkok, the downtown of Bangkok. These figures are the help and the great help of the business sectors. Leading design school, leading design universities in Bangkok, Chulalongkorn University, I can't thank them enough. They say, this is a possibility that Bangkok looks like. We can change our metropolitans, crowded, traffic, this is the most notorious things about Bangkok. We can change it. We can do it. We look at the old town, the new town, and we see the possibility and potentials. If you look at Bangkok in the top view, the blue line right there represents Chao Phraya River, and this is the mainstream river in Bangkok, in the central part of the country. Chao Phraya River, if you have heard, I have heard it, is that Bangkok is Venice of the East. So I went to Venice a couple years back. That's nothing the same. We don't look alike. Venice still live in the river. They don't have cars, they don't have road in the Venice. But Bangkok has changed in the past perhaps 70 years or 100 years. We used to commute over the water, the rivers, but now people are actually built roads, cars becomes a commodity or necessary things that everybody needs to have. We probably cannot get back to the point that we were before, but we can compromise the lifestyles of today and the possibility in the future. Let's take a look. You see the CBD district, you see the Thonburi district. Thonburi is, to me, is the old town. I have never been there. I've been living in CBD for pretty much my whole life. Thonburi is someplace that we have a whole lot of history right there, dated back 200 years ago when we, and all that. we have start out the Bangkok, Thonburi were pretty much the starting point of our history, of the modern history here. What do we want about that? There were like questions yesterday and the day before. If we want to change things, do we have to demolish the old town to build the new things? Well, my answer is depends. To me, I don't want to demolish the whole Thonburi. It's pretty, it's charming the way it is. This is Klong Bang Luang. I've never been there. I've been there, but I never lived in that area. But if you read the history of Bangkok, this place is full of life. And this is the current photos that we have at the moment. But we don't want to change it. We don't want to change the lifestyle. You still have the monk roll the boat in the morning, and it's beautiful like that. We don't want to have them to change the way of life. So we think, how are we going to compromise and be in between the the really charming lifestyle that we had. This is the work of architecture. This is the work is about is going to be the project in the futures. We said we can build it. We can have the people live the way it is, but in the more convenient way, better way, so that increase the quality of life. Klong Bang Luang, if I read the novel or literature, they did back so many years. It reflected how people live and how people survive in the World War II. And that's, make me, the whole story like, oh, no, don't change them. They are pretty just the way they are. But just complement them, from what they have. This is another, just a common canals that we see. We used to commute over the water, but now it's not possible to go across that bar, stuff like that. But, well, because it's developed within all the industrialized, and the urban lifestyle. There are 3 minutes. Thank you. I'm sorry. That's shocking to me. And this is the Bangkok Renewal's innovation workshop. This is all possible. They would like to be there. Well, the lifestyle is there, but just make it better. Let's go faster. Urban green links. You see, Bangkok is really hot weather. To me, before Bangkok is not walkable. If you gotta go from point to point, I better take a cab, even only 100 meters along the road, because it's really sweaty, it's really hot out there. So it would be nice, we got inspired with Tokyo itself and Highline, New York City, and something that we can build, something we can do better. These are some of the projects that Bangkok government, as Bangkok Administrative or BMA, have implemented it. We have urban green links. We utilize the location or the place under the expressway or the high sky train. And this is one example that I really like. If you have been in Bangkok, if you are Bangkokian, you probably not noticed that, how awesome it is. But if you look at the old photos, this one is actually underneath the sky train. So, but it's still hot to walk in the daytime. So we like to build a garden, and this is a grand example of the collaboration between the government themselves, the business along the way. And they believe that if they can make the city prettier, and more walkable and livable, it's going to bring in more investment and more economic values. And this has been one thing that I'm really proud of from shopping mall and the bank around the area. This example that I told you yesterday, we put the gimmicks, you don't want to walk, well, please don't drive, because we try to limit the number of cars in our cities. Why don't we put a little bit of gimmicks that this is the way that you walk, this is the calories that you burn. So it could be a good gimmicks for that. Smart street biz. Informal economy. Believe it or not, if you go to Bangkok, you're going to see a lot of street vendors all around the places. And believe me or not, I look at the data, economic data, the economic value from the street vendors is basically as high as 40% of our country GDP. I cannot believe that. That's why we can't eliminate them entirely, so then we have to live with them. So we have to work around how we're going to compromise between the place, make it more nicely, and you can live both the vendors themselves and the consumers and the pedestrians all around. We'll try to connect our lifestyles and also the urban creative districts. We'd like to take a look real quick on this. When we talk about creative district, yes, we can refer to a creative industry, web developers, animations and all that. But something that I like to see, the culture in there. This is the area of Nang Leung, the work of art for many organizations in our countries, and something that we'd like to keep it. What we did, well, we showed them what should be done. We helped them visualize it. But guess what? In this implementation, we have got to be careful. If you just, push your vision too much, too fast to them, to the citizen, at the end, what you get is the resistance. Okay, I believe my time is up, but we can continue on in our discussion in our panel. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for your time.